The year is 1900. America is growing fast. Cities are expanding, people are moving west, and factories are rising. But travel is slow. Horses and carriages rule the streets. Trains carry people long distances, but they stop only at certain towns. For ordinary Americans, freedom of movement is still limited. A new dream is starting to spread, machines that can move without horses. They're called automobiles. At first, cars looked like toys for the rich. Only millionaires could afford them. They were expensive and unreliable and often broke down after a few miles. Roads were muddy, rough, and dangerous. Many people say cars will never replace horses, but a few men in America believe cars can change the nation forever. Among them is Henry Ford, a farm boy from Michigan. Ford had one simple goal: to build a car for the average American. This idea sounds impossible. How can a machine that costs us so much become cheap enough for workers to buy? Many laugh at Ford. His competitors tell him he's wasting his time. Investors doubt him, but Ford refuses to quit. He works day and night in Detroit, testing engines, improving parts, and studying how to make cars faster and cheaper. His dream is bold: to build cars and change America itself. If people can own cars, they can travel anywhere, live farther from cities, and control their own lives. Roads can connect small towns to big cities. Families can move freely. Business can grow across state lines. Cars can make America stronger. The dream is big, but the challenges are bigger. Ford needs a way to build cars quickly. He needs to cut costs. He needs to convince America that cars are not just toys for the rich, but tools for everyone. Failure is waiting at every step. Yet Ford keeps pushing. He's about to launch an idea so powerful that it will shake the foundations of industry. What started as a dream is about to turn into a revolution. Henry Ford had the dream, but dreams alone cannot build cars. The challenge was speed. In 1910, most cars took more than 12 hours to make. So Ford set out to build a weapon that no one had ever tried before: mass production. He studied factories, watched machines, and observed workers. Then he had an idea. What if the car moved and the workers stayed still? What if each worker did only one small task again and again while the car moved past them? This was the birth of the moving assembly line. In 1913, at his Highland Park factory in Detroit, Ford tested it. The results were shocking. Time to build a car dropped from 12 hours to just 90 minutes. Productivity exploded. Costs fell. The impossible became possible. The car that came out of this revolution was the Model T, strong, simple, and affordable. For the first time in American history, an average worker could afford to own a car. Ford had done what others thought was madness. He made cars for the people. The Model T changed everything. By the 1920s, America was no longer the same nation. For the first time, millions of cars rolled through cities and farms. Roads filled with dust, noise, and speed. Families once trapped in small towns could now drive anywhere, but success always brings rivals. Ford had shocked the world, but other companies wanted their share. General Motors, led by Alfred Sloan, studied Ford carefully. Instead of copying, they struck with a new strategy. Ford offered one car, simple and black. GM offered variety, different colors, styles, and prices. They created a ladder. Chevrolet for the working class, Buick for the middle class, and Cadillac for the rich. Americans suddenly had choices. The car war began. Ford pushed mass production harder. GM pushed style, comfort, and yearly upgrades. Ads flooded newspapers, telling families that owning the newest model showed success. Cars became more than machines. They became status symbols. But cars also created a new problem: roads. America was not ready. Dirt paths broke under heavy tires. City streets clogged with traffic. Accidents rose. Some towns demanded cars be banned, but the people refused. They wanted freedom. Politicians had to act. States began paving highways. Bridges stretched across rivers. Tunnels cut through mountains. The government realized cars were the future. By the 1940s, cars were everywhere in America. Then came World War II. Factories that once built shiny cars built tanks, jeeps, and planes. Automakers shut down civilian car production. The roads grew quiet. Families kept their old cars alive with repairs, waiting for peace to return. When the war ended in 1945, America exploded with energy. Soldiers came home. Families grew. Suburbs rose outside cities. Everyone wanted a new life. And at the center of that dream was the car. Automakers roared back to life, releasing sleek new designs. Sales skyrocketed. Owning a car became a symbol of success in post-war America. But with millions of new drivers, chaos hit the roads. Traffic jams strangled cities. Highways were crowded, unsafe, and unfinished. Americans demanded a solution. In the 1950s, President Dwight D. Eisenhower announced a plan that would shock the nation, the interstate highway system. It was the largest construction project in American history. Thousands of miles of smooth, concrete highways were laid across the country. From New York to California, from Chicago to Texas, America was stitched together with wide, fast roads. By the 1960s and 70s, America ruled the car world. But no empire lasts forever. The first warning came from oil. In 1973, an oil crisis hit. Gas prices shot up and lines stretched for blocks at fuel stations. Americans, used to giant cars with huge engines, suddenly faced a painful truth. Their machines drank too much fuel. Then came another blow. Foreign rivals. Small, fuel-efficient cars from Japan stormed the market. Toyota and Honda offered vehicles that were cheap, reliable, and far better on gas. At first, Detroit laughed. But when Americans started buying imports in record numbers, laughter turned into panic. To win back drivers, U.S. automakers raced to change their ways, cut fuel use, and improve quality. But the road was rough. And while they struggled to reinvent themselves, Japanese brands grew stronger, proving that they could challenge the giants of Detroit. Yet America was not ready to surrender. The car was more than business. It was freedom, music, road trips, Route 66, and the roar of engines on summer nights. So Detroit pushed muscle cars, sports cars, and innovations to keep the spirit alive. And so the battle for the soul of the automobile raged on.